Hi YouTube! If you're new to my channel, welcome to Ink Fuzz. My name is Grace, and for today's video I am going to be doing a Christmas book haul. I know it's a little late, but I still really wanted to do this because, as you can probably tell from all the books behind me, I love reading. I know that might come as a shock to some people, but trust me, reading's fun. So without any further ado, let's get into the haul. Woo! So the first book I wanted to showcase today is The Final Gambit by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the final book in the Inheritance Games trilogy, and I'm sorry, but I already finished it. Like, wow. The Inheritance Games is such a good series, and I actually found it on Bookstagram. I found it just swiping through, and then eventually when I went into bookstores, it started to pop up all over the place, and I had a good friend also who had read the series and was like, no, Grace, like, you have to read this book. So finally, I picked up the Inheritance Games, and it is like, I have no words for how amazing this series is. The Inheritance Games trilogy itself, if you haven't heard of it or haven't read it yet, it follows, at the start, it follows 16-year-old Avid Kylie Grams and her unexpected jump from sleeping in her car to inheriting this massive billion-dollar fortune. And so basically, like, she goes from nothing to the world's richest teenager. But before she can inherit the $46 billion set aside from her from the dead Tobias Hawthorne, she must live in Tobias Hawthorne's mansion for at least 1 year without breaking any of the rules that are set on her. And so Avery Kylie Grams meets the four Hawthorne brothers, and with stumbling into this new world, she's faced with many challenges and riddles and puzzles and secrets about herself, her family, and also the Hawthorne brothers family. So if you haven't read this series or this book, it's out now, and it's just absolutely incredible. Like, the amount of times that I nearly like threw this book across the room with like plot twists and character development and just like spicy little scenes mixed into this. Like, it's so good, and I definitely recommend you get your hands on this book. All right, rolling into the next book, Where Dreams Descend by Janella Angels. So this book I actually heard of really recently. It was like a week before Christmas I found out that this book was a thing. I actually heard about Where Dreams Descend and Janella Angels from Marissa Meyer's book podcast, The Happy Writer, on Spotify. And as soon as Janella started talking about her book, I was like, I have to get my hands on this. So Where Dreams Descend is about this girl named Kalia. Her mission and her goal in life is to become the best showgirl, the best musician out there. But the problem is she's a girl, and she lives in a world where girls are seen as just like worthless and not strong, not powerful, not like independent and amazing, which we are, by the way. And so Dreams Descend follows her journey becoming this like amazing showgirl and proving to everyone that she's amazing. Dreams Descend is also great for fans of The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, if you've ever read that. And I read that book a couple years ago, and so when Where Dreams Descend was linked with that book, I knew right away that I had to read it. So I'm very excited to read this book. I've never read a book by Janella Angels before, so very excited to jump on into this. Next book that I want to babble on about is this lovely book. It's Gilded by Marissa Meyer, and there are actually two books in this little duology. So there's Gilded and Cursed. I am a huge Marissa Meyer fan. Like, as you can see behind me, some of her books I have read the full Lunar Chronicles series, I've read the Renegades trilogy, I've read her books down here, also Heartless and Instant Karma, and I absolutely adore her writing style. Like, her writing style is so unique and so just like enticing. It just makes you want to read more. And so when I heard about this duology, I knew that I had to get it, I had to read it. I haven't started these books yet, but I'm very, very, very excited to start this story. So the Gilded duology is a play off of Rumpelstiltskin. So if you've read Marissa Meyer's books, especially the Lunar Chronicles, she plays off of a bunch of different fairy tales and kind of twists them in her own little special way. Follows 18-year-old Serilda, and Serilda has a very, very strong talent for storytelling. The only problem is she lives in a world where storytelling is seen as a crime, and spewing all these falsehoods can get you imprisoned or killed. And so one day when Serilda's stories reach the wrong kind of people, she is caught and is faced with a very tough decision to either do the impossible task of spinning straw and turning it into gold, or to be killed on the spot for spelling out her falsehoods through the stories that she loves to tell. And so in a state of desperation, she summons help, but there is a deadly price that she has to pay along with that help that she's receiving. So I'm very excited to read these two books. Like, the cover art is absolutely beautiful, and Marissa Meyer's writing is just so magical and spellbinding, and I can't wait. So keeping on the topic of Marissa Meyer, I also have another book by her, which is Serendipity, 10 Romantic Tropes Transformed. So this book here is edited by Marissa Meyer, but there are 10 different authors actually included in this book, which is what made me be drawn to the book, first of all. So as an aspiring writer myself, I really enjoy listening to different voices and perspectives. And so this book, when I found out that it had like 10 different authors, I was like, oh man, like, I have to get this book. And it's also edited by my favorite author, so why not? Some of the authors included in this are Abigail Hingwen and Leah Johnson, if you know those lovely authors. Serendipity is, again, all about these 10 romantic tropes. So each of the authors that wanted to be a part of this big project here, they each picked a trope to work on, and they each wrote a little short story about it. So I can't wait for this. And some of the tropes that are included are the fake relationship, one bed, and the secret admirer. So if you are a hopeless romantic like me and you love reading, this is a great book to add to your bookshelf or already overflowing TBR. So we're down to the two final books here, and for my second last book, I have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. So I personally have never read a Victoria Schwab book ever, but I have heard so many amazing stories and words said about this book, so I cannot wait to get into this one. What drew me into this book is just like, it was everywhere when it first came out. Like, Bookstagram was blowing up about it, and I also have a few friends who have also read this book and have said that it was very, very good. And so The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue follows Addie LaRue and her wish to live forever. But when she strikes that deal with a mysterious man, she is also cursed, and so with that curse, she's able to live forever, but she has to face the repercussions of being forgotten by everyone she knows. She lives through the centuries until one day she actually meets someone who remembers her name. And so that little bit there transforms the whole story, and I cannot wait to get into this book and read about Addie's story. So we've made it to the final book, and this one here is probably my most anticipated read. I've actually already started it. I started this book after finishing the final Gambit, and it is The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. So this book here is actually part of a will-be trilogy in September this year. It's part of the Once Upon a Broken Heart series, which I actually think I have behind me here. So this one here is the first book, Once Upon a Broken Heart, and her second book, The Ballad of Never After, was also just released. 2 Christmases ago, I actually received the Caraval trilogy, and I absolutely loved it. Like, Stephanie Garber's writing just drew me in right away to this like magical, just like, it was so vivid. It was such a vivid and magical world, and I really wanted to be a part of it. So when I heard about Once Upon a Broken Heart and The Ballad of Never After, I just wanted them right away. And so I found them and I have them. I read Once Upon a Broken Heart last year, and it was just a magical book, and I really loved it. When The Ballad of Never After came out late last year, I also wanted to continue with the story and read that one. And so I'm about halfway through The Ballad of Never After right now, but the story itself follows Evangeline Fox. She has a very strong belief in true love because her parents had that magical sense where it was like love at first sight and true love, and so Evangeline really wants that for herself. But when she finds out that the love of her life is marrying another who happens to be her stepsister, her heart is broken, and in a state of desperation and despair, she calls on a fate, the Prince of Hearts, whose name is Jax, and I love Jax, like he's such a good character. She calls on Jax, strikes a deal with him, and Jax helps her, sort of, like a backwards kind of help, with her situation. And from there, she is whisked away into no, it's not the Majestic North, hold on. What is it? The Magnificent North. She's whisked away into the magical world of the Magnificent North, where there is a story curse, and so Evangeline is just wanting to find her true love, and when she finds her true love, Prince Apollo of Akkadian, a curse is also placed on him. Curses are a big part of all these books that I have gotten as I'm talking about it, I'm sensing the theme. But yeah, it just follows Evangeline's story about her trying to find true love and the challenges that she faces with Jax in play. I highly recommend you check out the Once Upon a Broken Heart will-be trilogy. I think her final book in the series, A Curse for True Love, comes out this September, so I'm very excited for that one. And that's all. So those are all of the books that I have for this haul. I hope you enjoyed watching and seeing all the books that I got for Christmas this year. Hopefully this video helps you find some books that you might be interested in and help to spark your love of reading. Again, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget, if you want to see more bookish content or more lifestyle content, to subscribe to my channel, Ink Fuzz. Alright, Ink Fuzz out. Bye.